everyone, and welcome to this conversation. And I have my dear friend and colleague, Douglas Prater. And the purpose of this is give you an idea of what we're coming up with next, what we're working at in the iAwake laboratories. And Doug, you created the whole very popular and beloved stealing flow suite, and now he has come up with and the addition the gamma add-on, the very powerful one, and he just came up with, well, you didn't just come up with it, you've been working on it for a year, and it's Lambda Brainwaves. How cool is that? Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing? And I've been kind of midwifing this thing. In other words, bugging Doug. Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? And it is. And it is awesome. So tell us about it, Doug.
Yeah, John, I thank you for your encouragement with all that. This is something that I've been really excited about for a long time. Lambda brainwaves, for those of you who've never heard of this before, are one of the lesser known frequencies that was one of the last to be discovered. They are very rare and they are difficult to measure. They are a very fast frequency of brainwave that is way up above even the hyper gamma spectrum at about 200 hertz is where we're talking about with a lambda wave. So what you can imagine with a brainwave state as fast as lambda is that it would be very intense and kind of hyper, but it is not at all. In fact, the effects of it feel more like a deep, slow epsilon wave. And most of what you get from meditating with the lambda entrainment is a lot like what you get from a really deep epsilon frequency, but without the drowsiness that epsilon tracks can tend to induce, making it actually a lot more enjoyable and, well, possible for those of us who get sleepy in the really deep states to actually experience those kind of transcendent states that you get with epsilon.
Yeah, and my reading about it, it says that lambda is like this between 200 and 400 hertz, and then it's kind of embedded in epsilon, which is really low.
Yeah, well, when we're talking about the brainwave states, the delta frequency, which was the slowest observed for a long time, is normally associated with a deep dreamless sleep, goes from about 3.5 or 4 hertz all the way down to about 1. And below that, less than 1 cycle per second, we get into the range called epsilon, which can be as slow as even 1 wave every 10 seconds or so. Wow. So they're very, very slow waves. In fact, this is associated a lot of times with people who go into sort of a stilled state. It's not like a near-death experience, but people who can sort of suspend themselves, suspend animation, and slow their heartbeat almost to nothing, and slow your brainwaves almost to nothing. That's the term that they used when they studied it in Meditators, is suspended animation. So down at that very low end of 1/2 hertz or less, you start to get into epsilon, and then the lambda waves actually emerge on top of that. If you're looking at the long, slow epsilon wave and you zoom way, way into it, you'll see that wave jitters a little bit at 200 hertz or faster, and those are the lambda frequencies. So what I have been working on is a way to do this, to actually get the epsilon to emerge out of lambda. It's not as simple as just putting a 200 hertz binaural beat in each ear, or making a 200 cycles per second isochronic tone. I actually developed a method of embedding the fast speed lambda waves into a slow epsilon wave, and that is what you're working with in the infinity tracks.
Yeah, and let me say, there's 2 tracks involved, and they're both approximately an hour long. So and the first part of it is not necessarily lambda. The first half hour is what?
Well, so getting into the way I'm doing this here is, rather than ascending through brainwave frequencies up to a 200 hertz, we're taking a reverse approach and moving down through the frequencies into epsilon first. Now, epsilon and lambda are both states that are really for advanced meditators, and the people that they've seen them in so far are people who've been meditating for years and years. Because they can be so tricky to get to, you really need to ease your way into it with the meditation tracks. So the first 20 minutes of the infinity track take you from a normal relaxed alpha state down into a delta state. The 10 minutes after that, so minutes 20 to 30, take you from delta into the epsilon wave. And from there, the lambda waves slowly start to emerge over the next 10 minutes or so. The last 20 minutes then of this hour-long track are just a nice solid ride in the lambda brainwave state.
Yeah, and it is very powerful. I've been using it now for a couple of weeks, and boy, I tell you that second half hour, I mean, the first half hour is great. It's not regular meditation, but the second half hour, I just find myself going into this extremely still. My mind, like I said, thinking is optional, and still place, but absolutely alert. So you feel this very high alertness of a high frequency with a very low frequency, and it just blends together beautifully. And one of the things some of you know about, almost working on 4 months ago, I had a heart attack, a massive heart attack. And part of my recovery process, I've just felt pain in my heart. Just happens. It hurts here, all other places, and is hypervigilant. I don't know what it is, but it's been painful. And since the first time I used it, the pain went away. And it's barely not even noticeable anymore. And I don't know what that has to do or why that happened, but I know it's about 30 or 40 minutes into the meditation, it just, the pain is gone. And I'm so grateful for that. And I was dealing with some really, hard issues. Also, a good friend of years, for years, committed suicide in an awful way. And so there was a lot of pain and grief and darkness and depression. And this track helped me so much. And I don't, it's not just the states that I'm in when I'm doing the meditation, but how I feel afterwards. It's just this, you can tell that this stuff is really, really doing a transformative process. And so I'm very, very excited. And I think the first part of this is it's extraordinary, Doug. Congratulations.
Well, it's been quite an experience for me to work with too. And it's been incredibly beneficial for me to use as I'm developing it. I spent so long just working on the protocol and getting that hammered out that it's benefited me for almost a year now before I was able to pass along a finished and good working version to you. And I'm just so excited to share it with you all, and glad that we're talking about it now to begin to let you guys do your research and start to play with it as soon as it comes out, because it's something that I think you'll all get a lot from. Meditation practice in total has benefited me in so many different ways over the years, and the Lambda state and really working with this has helped me reach levels of transcendence that I have never, well, not never, but only with great difficulty seen before. It's been a real mystical experience generator for me, and has expanded my consciousness in some pretty interesting ways so far. And so I'm really eager to see what other people have to say about it after having tried it and experimented with it. And in fact, I really hope that people will be willing to share their stories and their experiences with us too, because this is one of, like I said earlier, one of the least studied of the brainwave states. And so everything that we can collect and that you can share is going to be an important part of the ongoing research moving forward.
Yeah, and the basic data that I've been reading up on it, it says it causes integration and wholeness, as well as spiritual or mystical transcendent states. And I think this is revolutionary. A revolution evolution, as somebody probably said. So it's just opening new doors into what we do the best here at iAwake, and I'm really excited, and I want you guys to get excited. And also, this is like an hour track, so to get the full thing, you really need to do an hour track. So this is not for meditation sissies. You know who you are. No, but anyway, so I mean, if you don't do, I normally do an hour a day or more. Especially since I've been recovering from the heart attack, it's been tremendously useful. It's always is. When I use it, So this has been tremendously helpful for me. But, and some of us, we don't do a whole hour a day. We do 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But I think every once in a while, maybe once a week, you need to have, like on your Saturday or something, start the day off with a longer meditation, like an hour or, hour and a half or something like that, just to really get down there. And boy, with this track, it's really nice. But when you go past the half hour mark, for me, it's just like you are in the deep end of the pool. And, it's really beautiful. It's really still, but it's also, there's this spiritual kind of warmth and wisdom and love and compassion and bliss that comes through for me, my personal experience. And it's just been so exciting. Of course, and I know we get to share with the whole world. So that makes me even happier. So great job.
A lot of that is the experience that I've had with it as well. Just a lot of bliss and integration and transcendence moving forward. But yeah, it does take a long time to get into that state, which is, as you said, John, why the hour length is necessary. And not everybody has an hour to meditate every day. If you just listen to the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you're still going to have a great meditation with it. I deliberately made the entrainment pretty strong and used some of my own protocols that I've been experimenting with as I created this. So even the first 30 minutes are going to be a good meditation experience for you, but really the end there. And that's where the power of the Lambda really kicks in. And unfortunately, you can't just start it there and just do the Lambda half. It really takes the beginning part to get you into that state. Fortunately, I think you'll find the whole thing rather enjoyable.
Yeah, and there's two tracks. One of them is a music track. So that's the one I first used, and I had the really powerful experience. And the second one is it's water. And I love that one. Then it was like, that was my favorite. Now I'm kind of back with the other one, so I'm kind of flipping. But they're both have their own qualities to them. They're the same, but they're not. And the water one is really beautiful. You hear, and you said you layered many different layers of flowing water, and you also do this panning thing that it's like you feel like you have this stream of water going through your ears or going through your brain or something. It's very cool. So you're down in the state and you just feel the stuff going back and forth. And of course, and I'm sure that has some actual use as far as left and right brain synchronization or something along those lines. But I love the effect. It sounds beautiful, and it feels really beautiful also.
Yeah. And the reason that I created the two different versions for folks, both the music and the stream track, the river track, is that not everybody likes to listen to a music while you're meditating. The stream track can be a lot easier to listen to without any kind of distraction. It's just a nice, soothing tone that's not going to pull your attention anywhere, and allows you to really get down into that focused state in a pleasant and easy way. But on the other hand, sometimes we found that people don't always want to listen to nature sounds. They want something a little bit more musical with it. And so the music, too, I constructed to be, well, not distracting, as beautiful as I can be. And I did a lot of things with moving filters around and changing and layering the instruments and changing the envelope of all the sounds that morph and evolve as it goes through in a very natural and, I feel, harmonious way. Yeah. So whichever you're in the mood for on any given day, or even if you only like one or the other on a regular basis, they're complementary and hopefully will be something for everybody.
Absolutely. So you got two these hour tracks, and the music's not distracting, at least not for me anyway. It's drony enough, but it's also, it's just exceptional. So you get two for the price of one, and this is just a great leap forward in brain entrainment and creating these transformational tools, which is our, this is what we do. This is our mission at iAwake. So Doug, congratulations on this. And we'll be releasing this in the near future. And then I'm going to start harassing you about your next, master work. So anyway, thank you, brother, so much. Really appreciate you. And you're just creating exceptional quality stuff that's healing people and waking us up. And just in my little circle of people that I've given it to right now, the feedback has been just extraordinary. So you guys stay posted, and we'll get it out to you soon. And thank you for all your work on yourselves, what you're doing in the world. We just have great love and respect for you all. And thank you, Doug.